So you've got that really great teacher idea, but you're not really sure where to start. Man, I'm in that same boat all the time. You know, one of the struggles I have is I've got that teacher brain. The teacher brain is the one that when you're driving down the road, you see new lessons in physics. When you're at the zoo, you see new ways that you can engage your students in biology. You see lessons everywhere. And so you've got these ideas and they start to mount inside of your brain. And all of a sudden you're like, man, I got to do something about this. And then you hit the teacher advocacy wall because you're not exactly sure where to start. So here's my 5 quick tips on how to actually get started and overcome that obstacle. So before we even get into the 5 tips, I need you to do something for me. I need you to get out a piece of paper and I need you to start writing this stuff down. Because when you commit something to paper, just like when we ask our students to take notes, when you commit it to paper, you're making a commitment to yourself and you're making a commitment to your students to actually do something about this. So step 1, the first thing you need to do is you need to decide what your big impact is going to be this year. What is the one single big project, the big reason why you're in education, and that's what your advocacy needs to be about. Pick one. Make sure that you don't get distracted with a whole bunch of different projects going on all at the same time. You want to really focus in on one major project or one major theme that you're going to achieve this year. 2. I need you to write down 2 reasons why you believe that this is your role in education. Why you believe you are uniquely positioned to make sure that this happens for students. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be the most outstanding teacher in robotics to start a new robotics program. I'm not saying you have to be the most amazing musician in the world in order to be able to start up a new orchestra in your school. But what you do need to be is uniquely positioned to be able to make these things happen. And that's what I need you to write down. 2 reasons why you believe you are uniquely qualified for this particular role. Number 3. What are 3 different ways that you can make this impact? What are 3 different ways that you can put this into practice? You see, so many times when I think of new projects and new ideas, I think of the way it needs to happen or the one thing that really needs to occur. That's not really the case. You see, most of our projects, if we really break them down and really think about what we're trying to accomplish with our students, there's lots of ways to make that happen. You know, if you're starting to start that new orchestra in your school, there's starting with different groups of instruments, or maybe it's starting with an after-school program or a before-school program or a new class within your school. There's lots of different ways to make it happen. Have you stretched yourself to think of at least 3 different ways to make your project happen? Then you can look at those 3 ways and really decide which way is the one that really makes the most sense to you. 4. Step number 4. I need you to think of 4 resources that you don't currently have that you need in order to make this happen. See, too many teacher advocacy projects stop when it suddenly becomes about the dollar signs. Oh, if only I had $20,000 to do this. If only I had $500 to do that. If only I had $1,000 to do another project. See, it's not actually about the dollars and cents. What it's about is the resources. What would you do with that money? It's one thing to go to somebody and ask them for money, which is really kind of abstract in terms of how you're going to use the money with your students. It's far different to be able to go to somebody and say, hey, I need picnic tables to go in our outdoor shade structure at our school so our students can have an outdoor lunch. That's a very different and specific ask than, I need a bunch of money to go buy some tables. It's a very different way to ask about it. So what are the 4 things or 4 resources that you don't currently have that you need to get in order to make your project happen? Make sure and write those down. And then number 5, you're not going to do this project alone. I need you to write down 5 different contacts that you need to make in order to make your project happen. If you think about this in terms of not your project, but a project that you can surround a bunch of people around, you're going to be far more successful. See, the key to a great teacher advocacy project is to not let the start stop you from getting going. Just remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 impact you're going to have this year. 2 reasons that you believe that you are uniquely positioned to have this role. 3 ways that you can actually implement this project, or 3 different ways that you can build this. 4 resources that you don't currently have that you need to gain access to. And then 5 contacts you can make to make your project move forward. If you start out with those 5 steps, I think you're going to be on your way to implementing an amazing project. Good luck.